Talk to me. You're good.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Anime USA Closing Ceremonies.
I am very glad you guys do not sound happy about the fact that it's over. That's really what we want to hear.
Yeah, sorry about the late start time, but we have a number of guests that may be visiting us here for closing ceremonies, and they're over coordinating in a very near location. And we want to hear what you think about our con and how things went. In some respects, it's a little bit of a meet and greet and a little bit of a feedback panel. So I'll let Adam start first.
Huh? We just asked them to ask questions. What am I supposed to say? We love you. Okay, I can barely see anybody with these lights, but I mean, we had a feedback panel before. It had never really, I didn't even realize what was going on until I got the phone call. Good, bad, indifferent comments, questions, suggestions, anything like that. If we don't hear about it, we don't know to fix it for next year other than some of the obvious stuff. So if anybody has questions, please just raise your hands and we'll see what we can do. We'll start there.
This is more of an idea, but for the sponsors badges, a number of conventions include in some of the higher ranking folks to have dinner or cocktail hour with the guests. That'd be cool. Right?
Yeah, actually, we have done that in the past. It became a bit of a coordination effort, but that is on the table for future years. Is now we are getting enough space in this hotel to try to do that. Guest coordination actually has something that we're trying to do now that sort of might lead to that, as long as we are okay that we can get the hotel to buy in for something like that. That's something we'll definitely consider. We are looking at increasing the benefits for people at our higher levels of membership.
You don't speak directly at the microphone, or you will. Sorry.
You'll do that.
I'll do that. Okay. Speak over the mic. See, I do this. I'm not a voice actor or anything. I play one on TV now. Right there.
Thank you for doing the back. Okay. Thank you for doing the back. It's not working.
I was told it was working.
Screw. Jesse, you're supposed to be on top of this.
Oh, here it is. Thank you.
Thank you for doing the back check outside the raves with the box and checking the size, because that made it very useful, because like my outfits don't have pockets, so I can't put my phone or my cash anywhere.
A lot of conventions have actually started doing that now. Anime Next implemented that particular policy a couple of years ago. And it worked, they did it for a lot more of their rooms than just the rave. They did it for the dealer room and everything. And people weren't thrilled with not being able to carry a larger bag if they don't have a hotel room or anything. But just to allow you guys to carry stuff but not overburden and crowd and run into people. So it seemed like a reasonable idea. I'm glad you approved it.
And we did it at the dealer's room back when we were at the Hyatt, and for some reason it disappeared for a year, but we thought, hey, bags in the rave, let's go ahead and have the box, because that's what they do at the TSA airports, and that's what we're doing here now, and we'll continue to do.
This is about a Friday night with Guest and Censor being canceled. Most cons hold Guest and Censor on Saturday nights just because of the flights coming in. So do you think that's something you guys might plan for in the future, just to do on Saturdays?
We'll definitely be looking at the Guest Uncensored panel and panels similar to that. Obviously, with the number of things that we had running, we moved it to that, and that with the late arrival of some of our guests and certain other factors necessitated a cancellation of that particular panel. Unfortunately, there was not any real way to get the coordination to be able to try to reoffer it later in the weekend. But for future efforts, we'll certainly try to take into account some late arrivals and certain factors for contracting to allow us to be able to do things like that or something new similar.
He's been one of the stories before. That's interesting. I think that's what you miss. Yeah. There you go.
Would there ever be a way to have perhaps like a big projector screen set up in the lobby at the con at all times that can represent changes made on a moment's notice regarding the schedule at a con? This way people can come to a centralized point to see what's changed and what's been rescheduled.
Anything and everything is on the table. But realize something of that magnitude, especially if it's extremely large, is extremely costly.
Well, maybe we do something like what Otakon does and what Anime Next does, and at the info desk we just have a large television, which we have a few,
That
to show a on-the-fly schedule.
But having like a 16-foot screen in the front,
Just projecting on the side of the hotel, and just go outside and want to see the schedule.
there might be a little cost. We get a little bigger and can have a few more people show, then maybe we can pay for that. But the TV at info desk sounds like a plan.
Hi, this is my second call with you guys. Thank you very much. Next time, with the schedule right here, could you do us all a favor when in a panel featuring Charles, can you put his name on here, please, so we all know?
So what you're asking is that when we have a panel name or description that you say, with Charles Dunbar at the end.
No, maybe put the initials of the guests that are going to be there in parentheses after the title of the panel. The only concern with that is because we have all mandated 90-minute blocks for panels, events doesn't necessarily fall into that because of setup and breakdown times. The longer panel names can't necessarily fit everything in the line without making it, unreadable. So we'll try. We'll come up with ideas. Maybe we'll just put a symbol or something and have a key at the end for that. So
Yeah, actually, we can try it. I think what we'll do is that each guest has initials. So we have to put a legend at the end which says that Charles Dunbar would be CD, for example, and maybe we'll have a legend at the end of our program guide or pocket guide, and then we'll have the initials next to the description so you know who's running it.
So in essence, exactly what I just did.
Exactly.
Thanks for thinking of that, Tim.
Good job. I think you can count it. Oh, by the way, this is our con chair, Tim Garvin. And since he was beating up on me weeks before the convention, I figured I would just start dishing it out back to him because, once we're done here, we got to start planning for next year.
They made that cry.
Which, by the way, if you didn't know and you haven't seen, we are in the same hotel again with even more space in October of 2014, October 3rd through the 5th. So we're a bit later, giving you a little bit more breathing room from those large summer cons to be able to come back and enjoy things. The weather should be like today, like normally. It's nice right now for the middle of September, but it should be that 65 to 70 at that time, which we're hoping.
A couple other
Gives
things.
a nice-
Unlike this past year, we will not just have 9 months to plan this thing out. We'll have more than 12 because we're moving up to October. It'll give us a chance to prevent scheduling issues and make sure all of our planning is a little bit better off so we don't have all these schedule changes in the end. And another thing that was brought up at the other feedback panel is, we were mentioning the weather and everything. On a cosplay section of the page, we're going to start putting images of some of the nicer areas of the hotel for photo opportunities and things like that. Just so you guys who like to come in costume will have ideas of where you can go to get shots that will most accurately complement what you're wearing.
Got these two over here, guys.
Okay.
So I'm coming to you guys, don't worry.
Yes, thank you so much for not having panels at 8 a.m. anymore. That was terrible, trying to go to a panel at 8 a.m. And this year I actually got sleep.
Glad one of us did.
Sleep? What is that?
I know, I had this beautiful room and I haven't seen it yet.
Going back to the question of how to communicate schedule changes to people, one thing I've noticed Otakon that's done in the past, which I quite liked, is when they push updates through Guidebook, it pops up a notification with a summary of what the changes were. For example, if hours have changed or something had moved to a new room. And along the same lines, the schedule in their Guidebook is usually color-coded and tagged, so you can look up at all events with a certain guest or all events of certain types, or tell at a glance whether something is a panel, a Q&A, a workshop, etc.
Attract changes and any type of sorting or notating is something we're looking into. The first thing we need to solve is Guidebook working right in the first place.
So we don't have Disorganization 13 running their arcade stick panel at the same time in 2 different rooms, and then later in the day, because they haven't gotten their transwarp drive fixed yet, and the panel 4 appearing on the schedule. So yeah, we're working on it. We actually had to be on the phone with Guidebook a few times because a bunch of those errors were actually not on our end. It was glitches that appeared on their end, so we had to be on the phone with them to try and get it straightened out. We are looking at ways of circumventing that for next year. Yeah.
Oh, hold on.
Important phone call, Jesse?
No, actually, dude, I'm still directing things as we go here.
I know, I'm giving you a hard
Actually, I
time.
got some good news real quick. Hold on. I'm trying to finish.
That's great news.
Yeah, that one. Okay, so our charity, we actually raised a pretty darn good sum for them, $3,227. This was 60 that you're looking at right here, okay? This I didn't know of until the last minute. They kind of snuck that in. So, okay, here we go.
Anyway, I'd like to comment on the fact that due to Anime USA being close to OldCon this year, it appears that some of the attendance numbers may have taken a hit. I can notice this because the dealers room used to be crowded during Saturday, but this year it's still relatively, surprisingly still empty in some places.
Well, it seemed a little emptier. We had more dealer space this year, so all the people who were down there were spread out a little bit more. The artist alley and the dealers room were not connected, therefore you didn't have the constant influx of people from both sides.
Some of the small con or club stuff was put into the atrium, which allowed more space in the dealer's room, and some of the people that would be in the dealer's room were in the larger artist alley upstairs. But overall, yes, you are correct in stating that the summer cons being closer had a slight effect on our membership number. And of course, we're in the beginning of October next year, and we're hoping that we'll see more people come back and enjoy this con.
Yeah, especially due to the fact that there were actually no organized photo shoots this year on cosplay.com. This year or in the previous year, since these 2 years is previously new. It's basically, Anime USA is basically new to this venue. So hopefully in the third year, we're going to see some improvement, especially in the photo shoots.
Actually, on that note, since cosplay.com is not affiliated with us, I mean, we'll work with them if they want, or if anybody else. I mean, we have forums on our website. We have our Facebook groups. More than happy to post on there. You guys are more than happy to throw some stuff on there and try to set some photo shoots up. Or if we need to step in and work with them.
No, it's not on your end. It's on the user's end because it's still relatively new. I actually did one scouting thing the first time Katsukon was about to open at the Gaylord. Actually made a thread on cosplay.com and posted a few suggestions of the photo shoot areas. That's all I want to say.
Okay.
Yeah, and as we mentioned earlier here, we are actually planning on doing just some of what you just talked about from our promotions aspect. Maybe not as somebody internally from cosplay.com, but we are going to be publicizing and trying to promote the beauty of the gardens and some of the old parts and some of the places you may not know exist on this 16-acre property. And the fact that Rock Creek Park, with a huge amount of forested gardens and the zoo are very close by, and we'll be taking pictures and posting them up.
Yes.
I'm coming, sorry. No, actually, he had his hand up, then you, then I gotta go run over there, then back to her. So, how's it going? Good, okay. Yeah.
I had an issue trying to find everything. It just seemed like everything was very spread out and there weren't signs saying, oh, this is here, this is here, this is here. There's like 3 or 4 panels I wanted to go to, but I just couldn't find them.
Well, if you can find the people who actually were taking our signs, it would definitely help us in the future. But we print out these signs and they actually disappear during the course of the weekend. And I'm honestly not kidding about that.
They're good souvenirs.
Yeah, the signs definitely are something we need to work on, definitely. There's some people that we need to keep an eye out for. We need to make them a little bit more firm, more secure.
You know, we're thinking about obviously trying to come up with some larger road signs and boom signs and things of that nature for the future that are easier to see from distance and more of them. But, you know, taking the coordination and the time to print them all, of course, we'll have the nice 13 months versus 9.5. and we'll try to make some improvements for you in figuring out the layout. We are in a different layout. I will tell you that next year, the newly renovated Hall A and B North is ours, along with B South and C. So we have the entire bottom floor next year. So that's part of the increase in space. We're making it a lot easier. Certain rooms will be a lot bigger. There will be less stuff thrown about on the third level, and we'll have the contiguous thing around this area. So the layout should be improved for you to be able to not have things at the far-flung corners of the area.
Okay. First of all, I'm going to joke for a minute. Could somebody please explain what sleep is? No. Okay. No, but seriously. Did anybody else have trouble finding what they wanted to go on the schedule? Where they wanted to do?
Yeah.
I mean, because, I'm sorry, I hate the little pocket guide. The grid is a pain in the butt to read. Normally, in these program books, they include the time in the room, no matter where it is, under the panel. Oh, I'm sorry, can everybody hear me? Can we fix that on the program book too?
Here is the concern with that. As conventions get larger and you have to print out program guides and things like that, the number you have to print gets larger, meaning the finalizing and the proofreading needs to be done earlier because the printing needs to be done earlier to be able to take the quantity into consideration. The program guide actually goes to print before our schedule is finalized. So there is no way for us to accurately place what time and location the panels and the workshops are going to be in, except on the pocket guide, which is, because it's in black and white, can be cranked out closer to the convention. But due to this fact, we're looking into other alternatives to be able to print out the pocket schedule even later, so it is actually accurate by the time you guys get it.
Okay. Okay, make this quicker around this side.
One of the issues I saw on a couple of the panels is the panel space is actually pretty small. So when you said you're changing the layout, are you looking at increasing some of the panel rooms?
You are exactly correct. To put it in more detail, a lot of our panels are in rooms that are approximately 1,000 square feet. In the new layout for A and down for C, there are actually air wall breakouts available. And what you'll find is that we're considering either keeping an air wall open between two of 1,000 square foot to double the space, or use the new 2,600 square foot rooms down in the exhibit area for panel rooms.
Okay. Actually, before we go too much further with questions, just take your questions so they can get out of here. Okay. Basically, I guess I'll represent the guest department.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So, quick little final thing. Some of our guests wanted to come and say, bye. They're actually right over here. So, here, let me get it. Let me use you guys up here real quick.
A little bit of easy time here.
Okay. And can I let them say something each? Come on. So, thank you guys for coming. You want to read this too? Oh. Yeah. Okay, here. Start off on this one. Are you
Oh, hi guys. Hey. I get so nervous when I have a microphone in my hand. It's right here. It's fine. So I had a lot of fun this weekend. Did you? Yes. I was amazed at the costumes. You guys are amazing. Thank you for coming out and coming to our panels and coming to the autograph signings. Everybody's been so nice. And I hope we get to come back sometime soon.
Excellent, real quick. We've been working with these two for quite some time to get them here, and just from scheduling conflicts. Thank you guys for finally coming out here. We had a blast.
Just a huge thank you to you guys. I did not meet a single uncool person this weekend, and you all made me feel so welcome, and I had an amazing time. So thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, you guys had some of the best questions. Seriously, they were a little too smart for me at times. We had a really great time in all of our panels. Thanks to everybody that came out to the radio play last night. That was stupid fun. If you didn't come, you suck. See you next time. You don't really suck. You kind of suck, but just come next time. Mike sucks. On me, hey.
Everybody's okay, right?
Lovely. Yeah, it's a breastfeeding thing. Anyway, I'm gonna stop talking.
Baby wants milk from cow.
How you guys doing? That's the milk jokes out of the way. Did you have a good weekend? Really? I know the four of us have asked, but it's my turn. Did you have a good weekend? I had an amazing time here with you guys. Thank you so much for having me. Thanks for being so nice with all the panels and the signings and stuff that we did. I agree, the radio play was a lot of fun. For those of you that got to see it, it was Tibbs Funds. Agree? Cool. And hopefully I'll be out here another time to play with you guys once again. Until then, peace, chicken grease, laters.
Great. You almost got your death right there.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. I love it when they come to closing ceremonies. See, that's what I've been texting at the same time. Okay, so back to the next question. Who had a question? I know you did. You asked one. I'm going to hear because you haven't asked one yet. Then I'm going to work my way around to the people that already asked one. Sorry.
Hey, so thanks a lot. This is my first Anime USA. I had a great time this weekend. What do you guys think about this weekend? I know you changed some of the scheduling and the second year at this hotel. What are your thoughts?
That's a loaded question. Unfortunately, in the position we're in, as vice chair and con chair, we sort of have to take an overview of the show. We can't really focus on, we don't get to do anything. I mean, I get up on stage and I talk and I leave and I run around to do put out whatever fires exist and, make sure the guests are taken care of, make sure programming has what they have, if there are schedule conflicts, try to get them resolved. There weren't as many fires to put out this year as there have been in previous years. On my end. From a events, programming, guest sort of standpoint. Yes, of course, the schedule conflicts notwithstanding, I spent quite a bit of time in programming ops. Rob and the other programming guys were starting to get very sick of seeing me because anytime I walked in that room, it wasn't to bring them cookies, it was to tell them they were doing something wrong. I promised them, Rob, I'll get your cookies later. How about that? All right, muffins. I can appreciate that. I don't know. I thought probably the best part of this weekend was how great the attendees are. I've been having, I was the vice chair of Anime Next 2 years ago. I went back and I did the masquerade there this year. I don't know. I started to think that maybe the attendees, maybe it was just becoming a little too mainstream. Maybe they were losing touch with what it really was. That it was all about the camaraderie, the sort of the fraternity that the fandom has. And this show sort of renewed my faith in it. There were so many more people, meeting new people, having fun. I mean, it's one of the joys of a smaller convention is everybody gets to meet everybody else. I still like that about this show. Do I want us to grow and get bigger and better to be able to do things more for you guys? Yeah, but while it's still small, I can appreciate walking around, and by the time midday Saturday comes around, I've seen most of the attendees. I know, they're walking around, they're having a great time, they look just as happy as they did on Friday, and that's nice. I like to see that. That's where I think we went right, is we give the environment that allows you guys to have as much fun as possible. I would have loved to have heard more about what was going on during the weekend from you guys. I mean, I heard a lot about, why is Arcade Stick twice on the schedule in the same panel room? I have questions I want to ask you guys, like what did you think about the insanely large video game room we had this year? Interesting piece of information in regards to where our video game room falls in comparison to Otakon. Why don't you give them that stat? I think I might get a kick out of it.
We had just about the exact same number of stand-ups and we only have 12 less console units than we have. So that puts us, at least to my knowledge, to be number 2 of anime game rooms on the East Coast. Woo! And we have absolutely no intention of changing that because every time I walked by the game room, it was busy. Having the free-to-play arcade games, I mean, this is really good stuff that you guys can just go and enjoy or just spend your entire weekend there. It's a nice, appealing thing. What about you? What did you
think of the weekend, Tim, what you saw?
I honestly love the fact that we have larger spaces and bigger and better things to show you. I learned a lot. I was running around. I probably walked 30 miles in the last 4 days, trying to go around and take care of things and do logistical things. And people said nice things to me. I really honestly didn't have that many complaints. I had some feedback here and there, but overall, I think from the standpoint of the membership here, that you've been very nice and that you have given us the pointers where we need it. I think we need to take what you've given us, and that's why we're here for feedback, and we want to try to make this convention better. We know that we need to do some more outreach with the photos and try to show people what else they can do with our show outside of the basic programming, and show you the things of, you know, the DC area, the environment, taking pictures, cosplay, and all the other things you can do. And in all honesty, you know, there are some challenges as far as you finding things, but I know the first time I walked in Baltimore Convention Center in 1998 and went around to all the stuff for Otakon, I was like, wow, this place is huge. And you try to figure out what door goes down to what level at the bottom. At first it seems daunting, but after you've been there a while, things become second nature, and I'm hoping that will happen here with all of you guys, is that as time goes on, you're like, oh, I know where that is, I can go over there after I've spent a few years at this place. So, obviously, signage and some of that is important. We'll try to make it as easy for you to find as possible. But as you grow with us, hopefully you'll be able to learn and enjoy all the things that we have around, like the National Zoo and Rock Creek Park, and the fact that we have, you know, over 50 food venues within a couple of blocks that range from inexpensive to really fine dining. So that's really what I have to say and comment about. Really want to hear about what you have to say. By all means, email me at, you know, chair@animeusa.org. And I guess we got another question.
Yeah, we got quite a few, man. You just love to talk. Yeah.
I just want you to know that the educational stuff you did and the 8 track you did were excellent. The speakers were phenomenal, and the room was half full for the last panel on Orientalism. It was an amazing intellectual, kind of fascinating conversation. Everybody there had so much to say. It was outstanding. You do that really, really well, and I really hope you promise to be more of that next time.
We're one of the few cons out there that actually has a dedicated educational track, and we've been getting a lot of feedback about it, and that's why, you know, that's why we're looking to expand and do more along that line. We actually made a bunch of really excellent contacts this year for educational and, you know, Asian culture groups in the area who have volunteered to partner with us and help us improve that track even more next year. So I'm hoping we can put on some really amazing stuff.
And how many people even realize we did educational stuff? Because we are a nonprofit educational convention. Did you all enjoy some of this stuff? And you guys definitely want more, right? Okay, I guess.
Is it true that Kodo Fumi was here?
Yes. Like, do y'all know who Kodo Kumi is?
Yes.
Yeah, she was here. She was running around in a costume. And she was a teddy bear running around incognito. So it was kind of funny. Just saying. Okay, who is next? You have next one.
Just have a quick suggestion for the guidebook that in addition to the hotel room names, if you could list the panel 1, panel 2, the convention room names.
Yeah. We would like to do that as well.
I might want to get her. She's been having her hair for a while.
I can sit down again here.
Hi. This is my first anime convention going.
You're lucky. This is like my 81st.
Personally, I really liked all the panels, especially the educational ones. The only thing I was wondering was when I first found out about it, trying to pay for a ticket, I was wondering how come there weren't any individual day tickets. Like if you were only able to go on Friday, you will have to pay for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
The only badge that we really don't offer, and because there were some logistical challenges, and in all honesty, it comes down to cost, was the Friday only badge. We actually offer the 3-day pass. We offer a Saturday only badge that actually gives you Sunday for free, because it was easier for you to just give you Sunday for free if you paid for the Saturday only badge. Because then we only have to have one badge type, and because these things actually cost money. We do offer, of course, the Sunday only, it's just the same badge that you pay for on Sunday. We are looking into the possibility of offering that Friday only badge for the future, but the main reason we did not offer it was because we didn't have a lot of takers on it. We had it in the past, and actually when we did the math on it, it cost us more money to offer the day badge than it did that we gained by offering it. But that has not been for a couple of years now, so we'll revisit that.
Okay. Bomber Hat, you still had a question there? Okay. Okay, I'm coming.
Hi, this is my first Anime USA here, so I'm gonna ask you a question, but I don't know if it's in the schedule or not, so I might sound like a complete doofus if it is. Was there any voice acting competitions in the convention area, or?
I don't know if I would call them competitions, but there are certainly plenty of voice acting panels, including Voice of Palooza last night.
Yeah.
There was a voice acting.
Yeah.
A couple of conventions do voice acting style competitions and things like that. We haven't really given much thought to it at this point, but I think we can certainly look into it.
Essentially, when we bring in a large number of voice actors, we try to ask them what they want to do, what they feel comfortable with, and what we're trying to, if we have something to pitch, we'll pitch it to them. We've had things where it's like how to become a voice actor, or question and answer, or even when we get them all up here and they sort of interplay with each other and talk. But I guess we really haven't had a competition like an open mic or anything like that. It's something to consider, sure.
There are a few voice actors that actually, when they come to a convention, bring that panel with them, actually run a panel of that sort. And we're always on the lookout for new voice actors to come to our show, so we can certainly look into the ones that have a tendency to bring those and have that as an added appeal.
Yeah, and we're always taking suggestions on voice actors you want to see that do stuff like that. But we always try to make sure we get a good mix that you don't normally see in the area. You know, because we do have sister conventions, I guess we call them sister conventions. We just want to make sure that we have a nice mix that get them all around and you can see new people all the time. But I have, actually, how many years have you been coming here? You were here last year, were you here the year before?
Yes, I was here when you were still in Crystal City.
Oh man, just one of our regulars, so here man, here you go.
Hello. I'd just like to say, despite last year, I complained a lot. You did a lot better job this year, so good on you. Also, this is a small complaint, but I just wish on your parking that you either mentioned you mentioned the overflow at the DC. I parked at the DC University lot. I was not aware you were not offering shuttle service, and I waited at the lot for almost like a half hour waiting for the shuttle because you did it last year. And I've been told, yeah, I could have just took the metro. I could have just took the metro to the convention instead.
Last year, being the first year with the hotel, they offered the shuttle service, but we actually had so few takers that the hotel felt that we didn't need it, and that's why it wasn't. When we actually put up the instructions for the UBC parking, there was it told you about how much it would cost to take a taxi, and then the metro instructions. If we have a large number of people that want to take advantage of that, we may be able to get the hotel to try to offer that service again, but with the number that we had, it just wasn't cost effective this year.
I just like to say, just drop the shuttle. The metro was just a lot faster.
That's kind of what happened.
Yeah, so, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
So,
Okay.
I'm not sure if I read it right, but I just wish I knew about that before I got to the parking lot.
Understood. We obviously need to have our instructions up earlier and make them as quick as possible, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Hi. So for
there's a karaoke panel or whatever you want to call it. And I was hoping maybe next year they get a little more time.
Next year, I actually just finished speaking to the karaoke coordinators, and they brought up a few suggestions as opposed to locations and expanding their hours. And yeah, I've heard this more than enough. It'll happen next year. We'll increase their hours. We'll make sure they get, because all the stuff again was happening a little too late for them to throw a competition together. But there will be improvements to the karaoke track next year. That you have my promise on that.
Maybe their own dedicated room.
Their own dedicated room possibly, or maybe we'll split we'll give Jam Space their space, that hallway for half the weekend, and they get it for the half the weekend, because there were certain times that Jam Space was not being utilized, and it would have been a great place for karaoke just to set up shop and run. So there will be changes, there will be expansions. You have my word on that.
Yeah, I actually wanted to mention Jam Space, but it seems like you already know what's going on with it.
Yeah.
And then there was this other thing. I think it was called Crazy Otaku.
Yes.
Yeah. I've never seen that group before. When I actually came to one of their panels, it was surprisingly different. But
They're amazing. I've been working with them at Anime Next for years, and I was talking to them, and they were very interested in coming, expanding their horizons a little bit, coming down here and trying to build their appeal there. And I'm very happy to hear they were well received. Ben and Mary loved coming down here, loved everybody they were able to interact with. So yeah, I'll talk to them and see if they're interested in doing it again next year.
Yeah, I just gotta say, I love how this panel was so interactive.
Yep.
Rather than just ask questions and talk to people, we actually played mini games like WarioWare and stuff. We had a Pocky War.
I told you, Tim, they were going to be good. You didn't believe me?
Hey guys, so this is my 11th year here at AUSA. So I've been coming here for a while. Now, 2003.
Wow, you have me beat. Wow.
Did I remember his first year?
Yeah, let's not go there. The masquerades, I know you guys had no control over how many entries you guys got. There was only 11 entries, but they were good entries nonetheless. I was wondering, is there any way you guys could probably advertise that more? I mean, next year I'll probably try and do a skit myself. I'm not normally a performer, I do cosplays. And the second thing is, the Iron Editor is at the same time as at the masquerades. I'm also an AV editor, so it's kind of hard to pick and choose which one to do at that point, since they're both major events for both competitions.
One of the nicest things, one of the things I love to hear from attendees is there was so much going on I couldn't pick what I wanted to do. But yeah, I understand Iron Editor has a major following. The only issue is something has to go against the masquerade. Whatever it is going to hurt a little bit. We try to pull the lesser of all evils when we do that. We'll, if what we do, we take a survey and we look in on every panel room, on every workshop and everything to see what the populace of the room is, see if it's well attended. If so, we put it in a better location, better time slot, bigger room, just to help it flourish. So after this year, we're going to take a look at how everything got turned out. If as popular as Iron Editor is, we will likely move it to a better location, better time. Where Masquerade is concerned, yeah, we'll get the information up earlier, allow people to sign up earlier, get more, get the rules up and everything. The real thing is myself, our cosplay director, our Masquerade coordinator, our hall cosplay coordinator. We run Anime Next. We compete at Otakon. So unfortunately, sometimes we're a little slower than we should. And we acknowledge that's a problem. And we'll push to get things up faster. We'll advertise as best we can. But yeah, the big concern, and this is, unfortunately, it's a trend. When I started going to cons in 2001, Otakon had 56 masquerade skits.
Yeah.
It was a packed block. People were turned away. For a couple of years after that, people got turned away. If you did not sign up the night they opened the application, you were not getting a place. They've dwindled. Otakon had 20-ish. Anime Next had 10, 12? 6 this year. Oh, Anime Next had 6. Okay. We had 8, which was one more than last year. It's unfortunately, it's a trend that's being felt throughout a lot of conventions. Some have a way of getting around it. We actually have some friends who work at other conventions, West Coast and to the South, that have ways of bolstering the number of entries. And we're going to look into different ways, different rule sets, different things that we can do to get it up and running again. Because, this year was probably the single best collection of skits I've seen at the show ever. Very talented people, a lot of fun. There wasn't a single group that went up on that stage that I wasn't laughing my head off at. And I've been up there every year introducing these guys. I know what they do. But yes, we are going to look at different ways of advertising and trying to build, popular appeal for it.
It's something we've already discussed.
Really?
Okay. Yeah, with algae.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that, yes, of course.
Yeah, I got a good question up here, guys.
Hey guys, I enjoyed the con this year. It was easier. Last year the hotel was confusing and stuff. We're talking about having it in October next year, which is a little better. But what was wrong with it in November?
Well, you have to understand that, for any convention, you need to book your dates and you have to have contracts signed substantial amounts of time in advance. So we are subject to the whims of what the hotel has available at the time. So moving to September, it was either this or Black Friday, which would have been, I would not be here if it was on Black Friday. I do day trading for a living, but I work part-time at Best Buy. So forget it after Black Friday.
I would have to quit my job.
Yeah, we thought that September would actually be pretty good and wouldn't hurt us that much because we were just a little early for the college students who were going back and too early for retail blackout days. October puts us in sort of a sweet spot in that it's far enough into the school year that students will be able to show up early enough that we don't have the retail issues. And, Anime USA had been an October convention for quite some time. And, it's going back, almost going back to its origins.
The origins was Columbus Day weekend originally. Then it went to Halloween. Then it went to the weekend before Thanksgiving for quite some time. And a week there. Now you saw this back and forth.
But we were hovering in that general vicinity. So, and it worked very well for us. It allows us to continuously grow. So hopefully we can stay in that general time frame.
There's challenges in this market. In the Washington, D.C. area, the shoulders of September and November and October are actually the high time where they charge the highest hotel rates. And a lot of the professional conventions come here vying for the same space that we would need to run this convention. Going later into November, which is what we had done in the past, had pretty much capped our membership because of the part of the factors that Adam just mentioned. Families did not like to come to us when we were too close to Thanksgiving. They had plans, they may have trips, certain other things that would go on if we were too close to Thanksgiving. And during the rest of November, most of our demographic is younger. The younger demographic, a lot of them are either college students or retail workers. Retail workers usually cannot get time off during the blackout of the Christmas season, which starts around the beginning of November. The other problem, of course, would be your college students in November generally have their major papers due and finals and everything else. So when we were doing our surveys, we found that November was problematic. We were trying to avoid that. In a perfect world, we would like to stay in the October era. The biggest problem is that we need to try to sign any type of long-term contract to be able to keep our dates in November, because all these professional conventions with, in all honesty, a lot more money than we have, come in here and buy up all the time that we would need in the large enough spaces. So we've been trying our hardest to negotiate a time which is not heinous for our membership and not heinous for our staff, without being too expensive and having enough space.
We're also in the month of Halloween, so why not?
Well, is that why you guys moved from hotel to town?
Well,
we moved to hotels because we're getting too big for it.
Yeah, the Hyatt actually was shrinking. Not only were we when we eclipsed the 5,000 mark at the Hyatt, we were starting to get too big. But the Hyatt originally started with 65,000 square feet, and as they renovated and/or had fire marshal inspections, for those that were in attendance, the hotel now only has just over 50,000 square feet. When they renovated the rooms, they shrunk them and the infamous Hall C in the old parking garage became no longer usable for meeting space.
If anybody remembers the year that we had to move the video game room into a smaller room and get rid of the tabletop room as a result, yeah, that's what happened. We showed up on Thursday and we were told that we could no longer have our video game room in that hall, and that was not the surprise we were looking to get.
And interestingly enough, we were the reason why the fire marshal for the city of Alexandria banned the hotel from using that room for that point on forever.
Well, because it was overcrowded.
Because they had never been through an inspection, and when they inspected, they said that it was not suitable for habitation.
Wow.
For which room you was talking about? Which video game room?
Back in the Hyatt, when it was down that small hallway and when you looked in it was a garage almost.
Yeah.
When we used that was the room.
Yeah, I remember.
Coming down in drapes to block off the view of the rest of the garage.
I remember.
The scenic view.
Okay. Next.
Hi, this is my second year with Anime USA. And I loved it. I loved the live performances. Back on was amazing. And
yes, they were.
I loved everything, but one thing I had a problem with was the dealer's room, because apparently a lot of the dealers like ripping people off. And I got into an argument with one because they ripped me off about $5 and they would not give me my money back. So, I mean, do you guys have like a policy on the dealers or?
Hold on,
Jesse wants to.
Yeah, actually, because I used to be a dealer years ago before I would work for a convention. I can tell you, every dealer has a cost and everything like that. They set their prices, and they have to be competitive. If they wanted to price match with other people, that would be called a monopoly, which is highly illegal. But here's one thing you guys always have to do, and I might have to run a panel on it one time, called haggling in a dealership.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I was the king of haggling. You'd be surprised, but I could take something that was $12 and turn it into a $5 purchase.
You can't, honestly, if you go into the dealer's room, there's this figure that you've been dying to get, extraordinarily rare. Our cosplay director did this with her Ultimate Madoka figure. She got the price dropped like $80 at Otakon because the dealer didn't know what they had, so she could verbally underestimate the value, and the dealer would bend because he didn't have an idea. But if the box is dented or anything like that, people know that when you get these expensive figures, you're collecting them. You want the thing to be in pristine condition. So if the box is damaged or anything like that, you can usually haggle your way down a couple bucks on it.
If you watch the TV show American Pickers, that'll give you a good clue as to what you need to do.
And also on Sundays, dealers do not want to have to carry all that inventory back. That's why you see sales going on, and they become a little bit more susceptible to offers.
Yeah, and if you notice that one dealer has something and another one doesn't, you can be like, well, they got it there for this price. That's one of my haggling tricks. I'll show you some more, but that's going to be a panel next year at the beginning of the convention. Yeah.
Oh, so you have that mean.
I mean, what's going to happen? The dealer's going to say, no, this is the price you have to pay? Okay, so?
The answer is always no until you ask, okay? That's my quote in life. You'd be surprised what they'll do just to get rid of it, especially on the last day. Okay?
So you had to haggle for your offers on Sunday.
You can make the attempt. Don't harass them. Don't try and.
I see.
Yeah,
So
nice. Kill them with kindness. I'm coming over to you, Jesse. I got a statement over here. I'm coming. Don't worry. But seriously, haggling 101 before the dealer's room opens next year. All right?
Yeah, do it. That's fine.
Do it.
All right, I'll write down.
All right. Yes. Well, me and Adam will do it together. We'll show them. Okay.
Yeah, because I got to go to the dealer's room this week. Yeah. This is the only thing I got this weekend, and I wanted to put it out because I wanted to look at it.
You play with toys.
We all play with toys, Jesse. Crying out loud.
If you've been out on the internet, you've heard the term, your mileage may vary. It very much is the case. Each individual dealer may or may not be willing to do something. Some will be much more aggressive in helping you out on a haggle. Some won't budge. And you have to go around, but like he says, you have to ask. Some will help you, some won't.
I was just wondering if you guys took into consideration going back to the dates of the convention, and people that normally go to USA told me, oh, I'm not going because I just dropped like, $1,000.
We knew that was going to hurt us. We knew when we had to accept these dates. Black Friday would have been the death knell, but we knew it was going to hurt us being that close to Otakon and Dragon Con. But we really were left with no choice at all. And again, moving out to October is going to help that a lot. And we've been pushing to try and get the October date. So this year we were sort of backed into a corner, but I can assure you we are always looking for the best alternatives for our membership.
Also realize that when you sign a hotel date or a convention center date, this is usually done years in advance. In this case, about 2.5 years earlier. So what you're predicting is you actually have to, unless you have contacts at these other conventions, you're trying to predict based on the history of that other convention and when they're going to be. When we actually signed this date, Otakon for a couple of years had been playing in late July. So when they moved to the second week of August and we came 2 or 3 weeks earlier, that was after we had already signed our contract.
And actually, after we already announced our dates, then they announced theirs.
And just to give you a good indication, I mean, most people in this room are aware of Otakon's announcement that 2017 they moved to DC. That's how far out they had to sign contracts. So it gives you a good idea of how long a convention has to commit to being in a certain area in order to secure those times.
They're going to be here in DC for 5 years, then they're going back to Baltimore after.
And they're going to go back to Baltimore should the facilities permit.
When you've been to, I've been to more than 10 years worth of cons, and the same thing that's true for AMV contest is true for Masquerade contest. 10 years ago, Masquerade and AMVs were consistently good. Entries were consistently good. Over the span of the past 10 or 12 years, they've gone from being consistently good to being consistently what I feel, in my opinion, is subpar dance skits.
Yes,
now,
amen to that.
We have cuts at AMV contests, but we don't have cuts at Masquerade. Why can't we have a Masquerade tryouts?
Oh, sure, that'd be easy, but then we would have only had 2 skits this year.
And that's the thing, it's where do you...
Hold on. Our cosplay director and our Masquerade coordinator can answer that question, I believe.
I'm coming.
Oh, wait for the microphone, Katie.
We're sorry, we're loud.
We got voices.
I'll challenge that.
Here's the deal with cosplay, okay? What the masquerade is really supposed to be, and it is always first and foremost a costuming competition, okay? The skits and everything that come with it is just an expression of the cosplayers that are up on that stage.
Yeah, my username is JT.
Oh, really, Jesse? So if we do trials and things like that, it really cuts down on creativity. This year, I don't know if anybody saw, if you saw the masquerade, we had 8 skits. We had 8 individual skits. It was actually very entertaining. And when we were doing rehearsal, we were like, wow, I feel bad for every single performance judge that's going to come up this year. So.
We also can only afford in our time budget to actually have only one rehearsal. We can't have a sort of pre-determination of what we can put on stage other than making sure in the one rehearsal. Between the 2 of us, we were running not only the masquerade, but the hall cosplay. On Saturday alone, we were in the cosplay room from 8 a.m. for signups all the way up until the end of masquerade, which was around 6:30.
And the night before, they were running the formal ball.
We were working the formal ball, so on Friday we started at 1 p.m. and we ended at about 1 in the morning after we also were running our panel. So we personally don't have the time and dedication in our staff to do that.
I think you have the dedication, but you don't.
Oh, we not only have the dedication, I don't know. I really don't know.
I mean, I remember back in the, as you had mentioned, in the older days, there was so much variety, there was personality, there was, I'm talking.
Shut up, Kitty. Oh, who wants to get fed later? Anyway.
She's my girlfriend, by the way. And no, that's not how she got the job.
No, I actually cursed him out. Anyway. with Masquerade in general, we don't like to pre-screen or anything like that. We do listen to the audio. We do have a set of rules that we do abide and follow by, and if they're not followed, we do cut skits. But the reason we don't pre-screen them is we're not a game show. We're a competition. We don't have the amount of entries anymore where you could pre-screen anything. I know of competitions that have pre-screened Masquerade skits, and the way that they do the pre-screening is not by, watching a copy of a video of it or listening to, or having them send you a script. It's just from the ideas. And I've seen people pretty much get themselves by just putting in a really cool idea and then not doing that skit, changing it up the next time. So that's why we don't do that. If we had 70, 80, 90 entries, maybe we would have to do that.
I would love to have that
There are conventions that still have 80, 90 entries. If you go to Anime North, but it's a different animal up there. It's more craftsmanship based. If you go out to the West Coast, they still have a lot more entries out there. Over here, it just doesn't. The decline is just getting worse week by week, month by month. I run Anime Next. I used to run Anime Next. I run AUSAs, and Christine now does it. And there's just a decline every year. We get a decline of entries. This year, I have to say though, I don't know if anybody noticed, about 85% of our entries were novice, and they were phenomenal this year. So,
Well, you didn't write down the category for me to announce as I was up there, so I had no idea.
We didn't announce categories this year because we didn't get enough entries. But 80% of our entries on stage were novice. So if you see or know any of them, please give them a high five and tell them they did a phenomenal job.
I just want to retort real quick. I'm not at all faulting the people that run these events. I only asked the question that perhaps it's worth looking at why Masquerade is lower in entries. Because they've gotten worse over the past 10 years, and people have stopped going.
Actually,
Masquerade has gone down because, let me be very blunt, we all run everything now.
Yeah, all of the experts, all the people who used to invest in shows are now running the shows. So,
Actually, and I have a little statement to go with. Look, if you know somebody that can do it better or you do it better, then I challenge you, do it better. That's it. Yeah. Come on, man. We want to see you do some Jesse James. Yeah. And,
first place every time I've done Masquerade.
Oh, DJ Jesse James, I have something to tell you.
Every time.
I had something to tell you. Saturday morning, I was approached by about 5 people saying you were the best thing that's happened to this rave in a long time.
Yeah, who likes Doctor Who?
We stopped competing because the writer said, hey, listen, there's a new generation of masqueraders. Let's stop competing for a little while, because we didn't know we were going to, we masqueraded 4 times over 4 cons, and we won, and we were very blessed to have done so, but we said, let's take a break and let others do their thing. So it wasn't an ego, it was like we took a break, and then we recognized Masquerade has gone down a little. Why?
They bring it back. Show them how to
Actually,
do it, man.
you're
Make
actually
sure.
starting to ever so slowly see the resurgence of the old
hope.
masters
I
coming
hope.
on. I mean, Jamie and I have been running masquerades and programming departments for many years, and this year we decided to come back and we competed at Otakon, and we just beat the tar. We took best overall master just because, we wanted to get out there and say, yeah, we can run them, we can do it too.
And plus,
Bring it.
Plus, with a certain show on TV, not going to say names. This is actually.
No, there's not.
No, I'm not going to say. But seriously, there's been a lot of chatter about. I know, but there's a lot of chatter because of that. And bad press is good press. I'm not saying the name. Stop it. Stop it.
This is not.
Anyways,
No,
here.
it's nothing to do with the con.
Next question.
Thank you.
I just wanted to quickly suggest that the walk-ons on the cosplay needed to stay on the stage a little longer. We're starting to get photographs.
The walk-ons?
Yeah.
We give them up to 30 seconds on stage. Unfortunately, this year, the same thing. All cosplay was at least 75% novice. And for a first-time walk-on, they're panicked. They're terrified. They get on stage, and all of a sudden, it's bright lights and a large audience and lots of flashing. We actually backstage have a family that's cosplays together, and the mother of the family was helping. I'm now calling her my dead mother, because she was giving hints to the people who were nervous on how to walk on stage. But it is a problem. Like we allow them to have as much time as they want. cosplay was novices, people who had never been on stage, let alone in cosplay, let alone in front of an audience this large.
I mean, I don't know if you could have someone standing off to the side where they could see them, would, give them some signal to...
It's very hard when you're on stage to see anything on stage.
Yeah, I can tell you from personal experience, when I am standing on that stage, I can see the judges and everything else is a blur.
Including stage left and stage right, which is very dark backstage. And at the same time, we can tell them that. It doesn't mean they'll remember it by the time they hit the stage. Like, we had a couple people by the time they hit the stage went, I'm thinking about retreating. And I'm like, no, get on stage. I don't want to ruin the list for my MC. Please just go on stage.
That's okay, I can take it.
I mean, you have a lot of people, especially with novice, the first time you step on a stage, and did you see how big that room was? Yeah. That's what they see. So they're like, all right, I'm already nervous, oh my. That's what's going through their heads, so.
We try to keep them as calm and as positive as we can, but like the moment, it's a completely different monster the moment you hit those lights. They are very bright lights, and it is a very big, we had a really good attendance this year. We almost filled Maine, so I have to say, yeah, when you finally get to that point, it's like, oh God, what happened? Did I go down? Yes, awesome.
And a lot of them, we had to talk a lot of our entries into actually doing it when they came in to sign up. So that just gives you an idea of how nervous a good chunk of them were.
Cattle prods will get rid of the nervousness.
Yeah, but con rules tend to frown upon that sort of behavior. I've been doing it years ago.
Yeah, sorry. Okay, yeah. I thought I saw Indiana Jones. We could have used him. Next.
Hello. I guess first of all, I'd just like to say that the last time I came to Anime USA was when you guys were back in Tyson's Corner.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
And I'm really glad I came back. I really appreciate it. And I also like to say I really enjoyed the Imani Invasion in the video game room. I mean, when I come to anime conventions to kind of see new things, and those are the kind of things you can't really see anywhere else here, especially in America. And I really enjoyed being able to have that experience.
Glad you liked it.
Another thing I thought was really neat was the idea of the formal ball. I hadn't really heard of it anywhere else. And I thought that was a really cool idea. The only thing I was a little disappointed in was there is the lesson beforehand, but I guess it gets started before. I guess a lot of people, they come in later into the lesson, they can't participate because it's already going on. So when they go to the ball, when the actual time, they're feel a little bit lost, not sure what to do. So you don't really have to direct.
Then you're going to love what we have planned for next year. We typically have one or two people who are our dance liaisons. Their entire purpose is to walk around the room and find people who haven't been on the floor, take them, bring them to the floor, and dance with them, teach them, work with them. The dance liaisons we had this year are actually going to be doing the instructions beforehand next year and are going to increase the number of liaisons we have to get more people involved, to make sure they know how to do the dances, and to make sure that we have, something that appeals to a lot of people. We're not just going to strictly hold to those 3 dances. We're going to put a bunch of free-form songs in there as well, so you can dance like you want to. We're not going to do any, if you want to dance hardcore, you go to the rave. But we're going to have slower music that you can dance in your own way that doesn't necessarily conform to one particular style.
Mosh pit?
I'd love to see tuxedos and dresses and mosh pit. That would be.
Do not deny anybody before. Don't challenge. Don't challenge, man. Okay. Dude,
but I do appreciate the feedback on the ball. Thank you very much.
There's a video of me at a wall of death where I'm just standing in center with them, just crashing in. Oh man, that's oh, all right. Did you have a question?
I could do one. Sorry.
Hi. I attended the Edo panel a lot, and I was also for the tea ceremony. I was concerned about the location of some of the other panels that were noisy, like during the tea ceremony. At a certain point while they're performing, suddenly you hear the DuckTales theme across the hall while you're watching it.
That's part of the tea ceremony.
Yeah, put the tea down, DuckTales, woo, and then it's just kind of like,
Well. It's unfortunate, but in any sort of situation that is not a full-on convention center, sound bleed is sort of a necessary evil. When we schedule panels, we try to keep that to a minimum. Maybe think about it. You have the band sound check going on in main events. What in God's name do you put in here against that? Something loud. So we put in karaoke. We put in something that would be loud enough to overpower or not be affected by it. When it comes to panel rooms, that's a lot more difficult to do because if the panels are new, then we don't necessarily know how loud they're going to be. If you were hearing sound bleed from the AMV room, I will definitely bring that to Vic and his crew's attention. So maybe they'll keep the door, if not necessarily closed a little bit more so we don't have that issue.
All right, cool. Next.
I gotta say, this is my first Anime USA. I went on Saturday, but I couldn't make it today. Thank you for bringing all the best voice actors for this year. I do have one question. Once next year comes, we have to register for in this hotel 1 or 2 months in advance.
Wait, you mean register for a hotel room or register for a badge?
Room and all.
Well, they're done separately. You register through the hotel a period of time beforehand. I mean, we actually still had some rooms available in the hotel, right up to the convention, so you won't have a hard time booking a room. When are we opening pre-reg?
It's already open.
Oh, it's already open.
They're selling out the registration. Okay, yeah, we're gonna wrap this up, but they were actually pre-selling them for what, I think $40 for next year. So yeah, if you sign up early, you get a reduced rate. So just sign up now if you guys want. Sign up in a week or two. We have cutoff dates, which we'll have on our registration website, and you'll see the different levels of badges from like a silver sponsor, or our silver membership or sponsor badge. Sponsor badge, again, you get to cut in lines, or you don't even have to wait in line, you just cut.
Yeah,
Yeah, you guys get on. You sponsors, do you enjoy that? Okay, just remember they're limited, so get those early while you can.
And we might be looking at increasing what you get with it. The other thing I will point out is that despite the move into October, one of the factors that comes into some of these things is the cost of hotel rooms. October is high time. Your average rack rate in DC in October is $300 a night. Yet, when we actually post our hotel rooms for 2014, they're going to still be at $150 a night.
Our crew is going to have to start breaking the room down, so I'm just going to turn it over to our con chair for some final words. Because Jesse,
you gotta make it funny. You don't need
as pretty as you are with that headband, Jesse.
Yeah, that's right. I make it rock, man. Yeah.
Anyway, thank you all for coming. If you have any feedback beyond what was discussed here, please email any of the email addresses that you will find on our website. Mine is chair@animeusa.org.
This is why he doesn't go on stage.
But again, thank you for coming. I hope to see you in 2014, October 3rd through 5th, at the Wardman Park.
The theme. Did you tell them the theme?
Oh.
Yeah.
Although it has not been laser focused yet, we have a fashion theme for 2014. So we are a very theme-oriented con. So you'll see some interesting things that we'll be posting that will give the folks that cosplay and other things something to sort of feel like they're all part of the same collective group with a core of fashion in Japanese culture.
Yeah, and we're the different styles of fashion and so forth. So as part of the guest party you're looking at, we've been looking for that before this con even started. Already been talking to some guests. So be ready for some people to be advertised here in a little while. Check our website, check our Facebook group. Stay in touch, man. Keep an eye out, and you'll see everything. We try to get as much out there as soon as we can.
Thank you again, and this concludes Anime USA.
You have you said you have a Gmail?
Yes.
Let me write down one thing.
Okay.
All right, man. You know I love messing with you.